Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Falciano. Today is Monday. I have a whiskey review coming at you. Today, we're heading back over to Islay, and we're going to be looking at a peated, a heavily peated Islay single malt. This is the Octomore. My version is the 13.3. Just like always, we're going to pour it, nose it, taste it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, add some water to it, and if you stick around until the very end, I'm going to give this thing a score. So, like I have mentioned, this is a Islay peated single malt. It's coming out of the Bruichladdich distillery. We're looking at a 61.1% ABV. It's natural color, non-chill filtered. I got to tell you what, as far as peated scotches, I think Octomore ranks right up there with Ardbeg as my favorite peated expression for a Scotch single malt. I've mentioned this before in other videos. If you are a peated Scotch fan, let me know what brand you like the most in the comments down below. Like I said, Octomore and Ardbeg are probably the top two for me. On the nose, I think there is a classic Octomore grilled peach and grilled pineapple note that is jumping out of the glass. As far as the peat levels go, I don't think these are as high as the other two versions, the 13.1 and the 13.2. This is more, I think, distillate driven and that Islay barley. So you're truly getting what the distillery has to offer as far as their distillate profile. Get a little bit of vanilla, but not a whole lot. And if you're new here, I classify the smell or the taste of peat into three categories: Band-Aid and iodine, campfire smoke, and smoked meat savory. I think this lands somewhere in between a smoked meat and a campfire smoke. I'm not getting any iodine or Band-Aid or that tar note. None of those medicinal notes are coming through. Some people like it, some people hate it. Some people think the more smoke in there, the better. Others want a little bit more of a subtle smoke. For me, personally, the more peat, the better. And I don't care what kind of peat it is. Band-Aid, iodine, smoked meat, or camp log. The stronger it is, the better it is for me. And I think this, as far as the lineup, I think has a little bit more of a subtle peat note on the nose than the others. Grilled peaches, grilled pineapple, vanilla, a little bit of spice, not much. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate, tell you what I think. Yeah, I think this is distillate driven with those bourbon casks. There is a building amount of spice as I'm sitting here thinking about it. The grilled peaches and the grilled pineapple are pretty dominant. I do get a little bit of a bitter note that I don't get in the 13.1 or 2. To be quite honest, I'm not exactly positive how I feel about this. It is fruity, it is spicy. Campfire smoke, smoked meat is a little bit funky on the back end, a little bit drying, a little bit bitter, just strange all around. And maybe that is, again, the distillate and the bourbon cask with really no finishing. And at 61.1%, I would think that this would burn a little bit. You would have a little bit of burn in the chest or escalating heat, and I'm not getting that. So it is very subdued for the amount of proof that's here. That was the first sip. There's something weird happening here. Let me see if it's in the second sip. And then I want to talk a little bit about, and actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Octomore, but it's more of a question that I have to pose to you than actually talking about the brand itself. So let me get a second sip in, add some water, and then ask you a question. Cheers, everybody. Second sip, that peat note is now diminished a little bit more. There is a pepper ginger spice that's rising up. There is a little bit of funkiness mid-palate towards the finish that I'm not a fan of. It really does get a little bit too bitter for me. The grilled peaches, grilled pineapple are there, but I don't think it's enough to balance out everything else that is happening in the glass. Yeah, overall, I'm a little disappointed in the later version, and I would much rather go towards the 13.1 and the 13.2. Let me know in the comments down below, which is now going to lead me to my question. I think, and I'm not positive, so I do need help here. I think the Octomore releases 13.1 is just a pure bourbon cask maturation. The 0.2s are Oloroso influenced in some way. The 0.3 releases are typically the Isla barley. And I thought I've seen a 0.4 which had some sort of wine cask finish. So I'm wondering if each of these releases goes by that blueprint. Bourbon cask, Oloroso cask, Isla barley, and then wine if there is a 0.4. So let me know in the comments down below if there is a set standard for each of the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and 0.4 releases. I just realized I don't have any water. Let me go ahead and grab some water, add that to it, give it a little bit of time, and then I'll get on to my final thoughts. Be right back. All right, got some water. Let me drop that in there. I'm gonna cut really quick, let the water do its thing, and then we'll get this on the nose and on the palate one more time. All right, hopefully that is enough time. All right, the overall vibrancy with the water is now diminished. I'm almost getting absolutely no peat. The grilled pineapple and the grilled peach are a little bit more subdued. And now all I'm really getting is ethanol vapors. So let me get it on the palate and see if there's anything different on the palate. With the water, the peach and the pineapple note on the palate are coming through a little bit more, but there is a mid-palate to finish bitterness and dryness that I am not a fan of at all. The peat notes are classic. I still think it's campfire smoke and sweet and savory smoked meats, so that one is still a positive. And if this is solely 5-year bourbon cask maturation, a little bit of the vanilla note is coming through as well, but I don't think there is enough complexity or depth to this that is going to overwhelm or outweigh that bitterness from the mid palate to the finish. So moving on to the score. If you're new here, I rate everything out of 5 stars. This is a disappointing bottle to me. By no means is it bad. I just think that it lacks the character that I expect from Octomore. And because of that mid-palate bitterness and dryness, I'm gonna put this at just a 3. A 3 is not a bad score. It just doesn't rank up there with the other 2 releases that I have. I'd be very curious to hear from everybody in the comments if you are an Octomore fan, if you've had the releases, which one is your favorite release? And again, comment on whether or not the 0.1s are bourbon, the 0.2s are sherry cask or Oloroso, 0.3s are the Isla barley, and if there is a 0.4, are the 0.4s some other kind of exotic finish. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you're interested in the giveaway, please read through the giveaway rules that are in the description, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So wherever you are at in your journey, I hope you are enjoying it, and we'll talk to everybody later. Bye.